Hey everyone, and what's up, Workforce? Back in February, I took my first official break from Final Fantasy XIV, and I didn't make a video about it because I didn't want it to be a thing that I was leaving Final Fantasy XIV, because I was never leaving Final Fantasy XIV. I was just deciding to follow Yoshi P's advice and kind of step away from the game and play a couple other games, namely Final Fantasy XI, a lot of Phantasy Star Online 2, pretty much like a whole collection of games. You can, if you follow me here or you follow me on Ginger Prime, you pretty much have seen some of the games that I'm covering and I'm playing. But now that I've returned to Final Fantasy XIV and streaming, so total aside by the way, Monday through Thursday, 5:30 a.m. if you guys want to check it out on Twitch, links probably in the description. People keep asking, how does it feel to return? And so basically, I tell them,
oh, yes, 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 oh, yes.
All jokes aside, and I was really debating letting that clip run out for a long time, I wanted to share today with you guys my insights as a content creator, as a player, as a longtime veteran of Final Fantasy XIV, what it's like to return after 5 months. There's a lot of interesting and conflicting perspectives. Hopefully you find interesting. And if you do, let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you, especially as it relates to the controller guides that we'll be working on once again. So a lot of this also is going to focus around the concept of Gunbreaker, because that's what I'm leveling up right now. And obviously I did the Relic Quest, which I posted kind of my reaction to just last week. Before we dive into today's video and basically a big topic, I do want to say Lynx Kamali, and I might be butchering his their name, YouTuber, posted a great video talking about is elitism okay within Final Fantasy XIV. Makes some interesting points, makes some interesting definitions. I honestly really enjoyed the video. I'm going to include a link to it in the description of this video. Go check it out, go say hi, go listen to his thoughts and weigh in on the conversation. It's a really good discussion that we as a community should always be having to hopefully better ourselves as a whole community, becoming more welcoming, more understanding, having a better culture overall. So I think that's a really good step in the right direction. I'd love to know what you think, but also go check them out, see what you think. Now, one other plug. Today I'm going to be doing a podcast with Comic Storian talking about the Final Fantasy XIV raid scene, what it's like to break in, some thoughts on that with Benny today. So the link will be in the description. It's going to be live today at 3 o'clock. You can come check it out live, or you can use the link and check it out once it's finished uploading and doing its processing here on YouTube over at Ginger Gaming Radio. Hopefully you guys enjoy the show. Let me know what other guests you'd like to see coming on to Crystal Core so we can have some really cool conversations around it. But now, with all that out of the way, let's go and talk about my experience returning to Final Fantasy XIV, because I was nervous. I mean, hands down, like, it sounds weird to say, I was really nervous about hitting that login button, hitting that update button, stepping back into my character after 5 months. It was never meant to be 5 months. It was only meant to be like a month or 2 months at most, thinking obviously the patch was going to be in June. But life has a way of really kind of throwing you some curveballs sometimes, and having gotten sick, having not been able to play, not being able to work, this 2020 has just been rough. Not just for me, but I know for pretty much everybody probably watching this video. We've all had to suffer, we've all had to make sacrifices, we've all had to change how we think about things almost. And that's not what that video is about, but having had such a long break, I was nervous. Like, am I going to have fun? Is this what I remember it to be? What if I don't like it? What if, like, this burn that naturally can happen when you're doing something, the same thing over and over again for so long, what if this is persistent? These were some legitimate thoughts and worries that I had when coming back, because not just as a player, I don't want to go and hate on games. Like, I just don't. It's just, I think it's a lot of, like, yeah, we've always said we can, like, and we know we've done a handful of, like, testing negative titles and thumbnails just to see how they perform, and holy crap, they perform fantastically. The majority of the negative comments are from people who don't even watch the video, so the videos aren't even negative in themselves, right? But just having that kind of upfront thing. And we know we could grow. We could be the biggest YouTubers in the world if we just take dumps on everything, and that's not who we are, not what we want to be about. And so beyond that, those fears were removed. As soon as I logged in and heard the music, I was home. Like, and that's essentially how I would describe it. Like, it was so peaceful in the sense of just kind of overwhelming joy that permeated. It has to be there. There's got to be some kind of spark. No one's going to play a game for as long as I've played this game when there isn't that core aspect. And it's good to have that memory of that. It's good to have that also, like, all the other, BS is pretty much stripped away, right? Like, while there are still things that I want in this game, and I just posted today about, like, the trust system, I'd love to see them evolve it in a way that it's not just like single player content. It could be like duo or trio content where you can kind of mix and match. That's how I've known the trust system. That's what I ultimately want to see it become. But the best thing I can do is pass my feedback along to the devs and let them make the decision. So coming back into the game, it's truly breathtaking. The world, the visuals, and the music, especially when you get in the Shadowbringer zones and the bosses. Oh my gosh, like I've been running the same dungeons a lot. I'm doing a lot more streaming early in the mornings because I'm trying to get as much of this content, and especially these jobs, knocked out and finished before 5.3, because I think 5.3 is going to be very driven around the story. And I'm really enjoying Gunbreaker, and I hopefully will have the same kind of impact with Black Mage and hopefully with Warrior. And at that point, I'm going to open up polls so you guys can vote on the remaining jobs that I have yet to level. However, just kind of jumping back in, doing the music, streaming the game, hanging out with people, talking about the game, working on farming different pieces of content because the game is quite large. It is truly just a beautiful game. And yes, there's things that I want. I think there will be always things that I want. But sometimes I guess when I've been too into the weeds, too deep into the game itself, those things feel like they're more important than maybe they perhaps really are. And just being able to play the game, talk with you guys about it has just been such a joy. So I'm so thankful, so blessed by this community. And that's kind of where one of the ideas or one of the concerns, or just how do we approach this within social media and content creation? Imagine if I didn't have that experience. I mean, obviously this is the kind of the what if scenario. What if I step back in and go, oh my God, it needs to change? A lot of people, and we've seen in the comments, expressed frustration with the game. It's a very story narrative driven game. And when you're there just for the story and narrative, those gaps could be a long time because then you're like, what are you doing? And obviously, typically the response tends to be, from the community of, oh, you can do these other things. And I don't think they really truly understand what is being asked. And the reason is like, well, why? And that's where, when I've returned, for me, the why, the fun, the excitement is in leveling the jobs. I've already got the crafters knocked out. Thank you, Kisu, helping me do that back last summer. And I'm just kind of toiling around with the gatherers. All I have left really is the battles. The gatherers will get themselves sorted out within probably, I don't know, a month, and then that's all done. And the question that I'll have, obviously, once all that's done is literally what do I do after I've got everything leveled, besides focusing in on kind of mastering maybe one or two of the jobs for the raids. And that's got me thinking. That's why one of the reasons I'm talking with Benny today on the podcast is about trying to find that time to break into the raid scene, break into the Savage content, whether it's the current stuff or diving into the old stuff where schedules kind of are a little bit more flexible and it isn't so die hard on, we've got to have this dedicated static 3 nights a week, something like that. Something that just doesn't work with my current schedule, with my current approach to playing video games as a content creator and as a gamer. And those things are challenging to kind of weigh yourself. So if you're considering getting into content creation, be sure to check out some of my videos on that. But it is, there is the idea where sometimes you got to shut down your brain and say, I'm not making content about this. I'm just going to enjoy this experience. So that is where kind of that lies. I wonder ultimately where, when people build their entire livelihood off of whether someone's watching their videos around a specific game, what this shows me is obviously subs, we're still growing because we have a back catalog of guides that help people out. So we're constantly being discovered here. But what that shows me is no, YouTube, especially from a gaming perspective, especially one game perspective, isn't anything that you can support a family on. I knew that, but this was really good numbers to see because when when I'm not posting content around Final Fantasy XIV, YouTube's not really recommending that content. And thus, you just see everything overall dip down and drop. While over at Ginger Prime, we've seen explosive growth around the hype behind Phantasy Star 2. But as that has kind of had issues and stuff like that, it settles back down into what we kind of have a lull. So it's really cool from my perspective to have 2 channels to be able to bounce those numbers off of. And with a 3rd channel that's up and coming with a podcast channel, we'll have to see ultimately where that goes. But I hear my son. So with that, I'm going to wrap up this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts. If there wasn't anything I got to as a part of this, I know my day's kind of been cut together. Let me know in the comments below. I might follow this up with a community feedback or whatnot. So anyway, dad mode, engage. Love you guys. I'll see you soon. Take care. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. This video is sponsored by me. If you guys like podcast and long form content, I hope you check out Ginger Gaming Radio. Link will be in the description of this video below. So if you're still watching this video, thank you, and check out the new channel for more content, and hopefully you enjoy. Thank you.